Oh my gosh. If you guys are not yet excited about the AMC stock short squeeze, the borrow rate right now is through the roof, and it should be something that we're all excited about because it means the short squeeze is right around the corner. Now look, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up and think that the short squeeze is going to happen tomorrow or next week or anything like that, but the higher the borrow rate, the higher the volatility, and the closer we are to a short squeeze. And you can go out and you can read almost anything on borrow rates, and 20% is a very drastic number. It's a very high number. The current borrow rate on AMC is above 80%, and I saw a lot of talk today about it being above 200% at certain points. So in this video, let's go through the borrow rate, what it means for the short squeeze, and really, is this the beginning of the squeeze? All of this will be answered in this video, so if it sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2021 the best year ever. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us. Become a bro. We are here every single day, and we're growing our portfolios together. AMC stock is going down in the history books, and it's going to be an epic short squeeze. Now, the borrow rate. Before we get too into detail on whether or not this could trigger the squeeze, whether or not it means the squeeze is right around the corner, let's talk about what the borrow rate is. A lot of people might be a little bit confused or don't fully understand it. So when you short a stock, if you're going to do it legally, you need to borrow that share from somebody else. Of course, if you're naked shorting the stock, that means you never borrow it and you sell some shares and then you get hit with a fail to deliver, and it's a whole mess. It is illegal to do it that way. So you need to borrow the share if you're going to short it. So knowing that the hedge funds are legally shorting shares of AMC right now, let's go over what this means and let's dive into it a little bit more. So the borrow rate is a floating rate. And in order to understand, these hedge funds are charged interest daily on their short positions. And of course, if there's other investors out there shorting AMC stock too, they're charged the same rate, but they're charged interest daily. Now, how do they find that short interest fee that they need to pay? It's the amount of their position size that they've got sold right now times the borrow rate divided by 365. They're charged interest on a daily matter, weekends, holidays, all of it. All right. So knowing that and knowing that it's a floating rate, maybe they started borrowing shares 3 months ago and the interest rate was 10%, let's say. They're currently paying well, I'm going to use 80% as a round number. I believe it was somewhere right around 82%, 81.9 or somewhere around there. But let's use 80% just to make the numbers slightly easier, okay? They're paying an 80% interest rate on all of the shares that they shorted, whether they shorted them today or whether they shorted these shares 2 years ago. That's the interest rate that they're paying on it today, all right? So it's a variable interest rate. They call it a floating rate, and it changes. Well, it can change, throughout the day, right? But it's 80% right now. So if we run some quick numbers, this is where you should get excited, right? Because everything that you read says 20% is a very good indicator of high short interest in a stock. We know this by now. We know that AMC is very heavily shorted. We know that there's a battle raging. So we don't need to go into that full aspect of it on why you would see a high interest rate and all of that. We're diamond handing it. We're holding it. We're not loaning these shares out. And the hedge funds are shorting every share they can get their hand on, right? They're digging their hole deeper as every minute passes in every day. And it leaves you with the question, why don't they cover their shares? Guys, we talked about it in the live stream, so make sure to show up to the live stream tomorrow if you want that answer. But look, they're selling these shares. They're shorting these shares at a crazy rate. This, coupled with the fact that we're not loaning them out anymore, has driven the borrow rate to 80%. Now, we know hedge funds, they've got a reported short interest out at around 93 million shares. Yes, there's a lot of speculation that there's phantom shares out there, and yes, that number could have increased since it was last reported. But to make it simple, let's use 100 million just to keep the math easy. 100 million shares are being shorted right now at an 80% interest rate. This is a daily variable rate, So they are paying, get this, they are bleeding $2.2 million, and this is using a $10 per share price. They are bleeding $2.2 million per day in interest alone. That's how much they're bleeding right now. They won't be able to keep this up for a very long time, knowing that they're just, and that's going straight to the lender, right? That's to the lender of the shares, whether that's personal accounts lending it out with their margin accounts, brokerages lending it out. That 2.2 million is being paid by the hedge funds daily at the current interest rate to the lenders of these shares. They cannot keep that up. They absolutely cannot keep that up. So here's what that means moving forward. This could be an excellent, an incredible indicator for the short squeeze being triggered. Or here's the downfall. I don't hate me for being the messenger, right? But look, here's the downfall. That really high interest rate could entice more people to go out and loan their shares out, right? 80% is a very nice interest rate. There will be other institutions intrigued with loaning their shares out at that interest rate. There will be individual investors intrigued with loaning their shares out at an 80% interest rate, all right? So that's kind of like the, if you're looking at it as a double-edged sword kind of deal or whatever, that might be the downfall of it. It's very enticing to try and make that 80%. On the other hand, guys, if they have ever been any closer to a short squeeze, it is now. They cannot bleed $2.2 million per day on their sales. That's using 100 million shares at a $10 price. That's $1 billion in short sales times that 80% interest rate, right? Given daily, $2.2 million that they're currently bleeding. Now, what does this mean for you and me? That means if we hold, we are every day inching closer to that short squeeze. Every day we are inching closer to that margin call that is going to shoot these shares to the moon. Now, I've done a couple other videos on how to make your maximum profit from the short squeeze, how not to get blinded by greed if you're looking for a $100,000 price target, what things you can look for during the squeeze to know what is happening and make your best decision based on that. Go check out some of the other videos I've done on there. If you haven't made it to one of the live streams and you've got any questions, now's the time to ask them. You do not want to be getting into the short squeeze late. You don't want to be one of the FOMO buyers that comes in at $120 per share and then you're buying AMC stock. You want to get in early. You want to see the squeeze happen. And if you think that it's going to be a long time before this thing plays out, guys, 2.2 million being bled every single day at the current interest rate. I saw that we were hitting, a lot of people were saying we were hitting, and I never saw it personally. I never saw the interest rate personally, but during the live, a lot of people said that we were hitting 200+% interest rate on that borrow fee, and that would be $5.5 million per day that the hedge funds are bleeding. I'm using the numbers that I saw at that 80%. But if we did break 200% today, that is $5.5 million per day that the hedge funds, that these institutions are bleeding on their short interest, and it's absolutely epic. It means that we are inching closer to the short squeeze, and it's, if you can't taste it by now, I cleanse your palate, because we're right there, and you should be excited. I'm excited. I might be a little less bullish on the price target than some of you guys out there, but look, it doesn't mean that we can't reach those crazy levels. If you can think it, we can reach it. All you have to do is hold. Now, guys, I hope that you're as excited as I am. If you are, share this video. I just started at Twitter today, so share this video somewhere on Twitter. Tag me at Claybro883. Follow me there. I'd love to see what everybody's interested in investing in. I'd love to retweet your tweets if you're... Guys, I'm brand new to it, so I don't exactly know everything that's going on with Twitter, but let's have some fun there too, right? And look, if that subscribe button is red, make sure to click that subscribe button, join the channel, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we're growing our portfolios together, and we're bleeding the hedge funds absolutely dry at a current pace of about $2.2 million per day at the moment, and the squeeze hasn't even begun. So guys, thank you so much for all of your support, showing up to the live streams and so on. Use the link in the description below. Sign up for Webull. Deposit $100. Get those free shares. Sell those free shares. Buy AMC stock. Join the movement. And until the next time, I hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.